Hi, you're watching Talking About It. I'm John Griffith.
I'm Cara Kilduff.
And we have a couple of familiar faces if you know our website, and you darn well better. And one brand new face to the show, all representing the AIDS Center of Queens County. And please introduce yourselves and exactly what you do at ACQC.
I'm Philip Glotzer. I'm the Executive Director of ACQC.
I'm Judy Pedraza, and I'm the Program Coordinator at the Jamaica YMCA Transitional Housing Program.
And I'm Robert Steptoe. I'm the Site Director at our Jamaica site.
Okay, we got a lot of experience, a lot of information, and a lot of wisdom here. So I'm really happy that you're taking the time out of your schedules to be with us.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, it's been about 5 years since we've had anybody from ACQC on the show. So I was thinking, let's start with a refresher about exactly what ACQC is and what you do. So ACQC stands for AIDS Center of Queens County. And there's a whole lot under that.
Right. We're the largest provider of HIV/AIDS services in the borough of Queens. We've served over 9,500 people to date with HIV. And we do that by providing comprehensive services, from medical to case management to education to mental health to legal to syringe exchange to housing and other services. We also run one of the largest, presently one of the largest food pantries now in New York City as well.
Wow.
That's a whole lot going on. It's more than you would think at a glance. I mean, and more than you did last time I spoke to you, I'm sure.
A lot more.
We've been expanding to meet the needs in Queens, which is growing, unfortunately, and we've also seen a need. Many of our clients, in fact, the vast majority are indigent. So if we have to treat the disease of poverty in addition to treating the disease of HIV in order for people to be healthy. So we've taken on different roles in order to meet the whole person's need, because all of our programs are done in a holistic manner, and we'd like to treat people where they're at and what they need, and we can only do that by providing comprehensive services.
Yeah.
We could talk forever, and we don't want to. But we've just recently also affiliated. Today's actually our first year anniversary with the AIDS Healthcare Foundation, which is the largest AIDS organization in the world. They're actually LA-based. They're in 14 states in the United States and 36 countries throughout the world. We serve about 500,000 people now worldwide who are now in care. So that's enabled us in Queens, though, to leverage that, to start expanding. So we opened up a new clinic, a new pharmacy in Jamaica, and we intend to open up through other parts of Queens as well.
Okay, so while you have this affiliation, you still have your independence as well.
Yes, we're totally autonomous from them. We are affiliated, but they are our parent corporation.
Okay.
But in the borough of Queens, we do what to meet the needs of the clients that we have. We don't have to answer to what we do.
Okay, that's.
I think the last time I was here, we were basically working with people and helping them to die with some dignity. Where now things are so different because of the new treatments, we're actually helping people to live a normal, productive life. As Phil said, unfortunately, most of our clients the biggest barrier is the poverty. And they also have a lot of multiple challenges besides HIV, history of mental illness and substance abuse. So that's what we're working on now rather than the dying issue.
That's huge.
Yeah, I mean, it's all interconnected. Yeah, for lack of a better metaphor, it's just a big spider web, and if you pull over here, it just ricochets throughout the whole thing. And do you think the fundamental issue of addressing poverty trickles up or trickles down in the best manner, or where do you think the most effective place to start is, or is it just all over depending on the individual's needs?
You know, we're dealing with so many complicated problems, and each individual is different. But just putting a little patch on one area is not going to help. So what we try and do is deal with the issues of the individual that comes in. And a mother with children is going to take care of the kids first. So if you don't get the entitlements in place, if you don't make certain that the kids are in school and the food stamps are coming in, then she's not going for health care until all of that is taken care of. So what we try and do is in a one-stop shopping model is have someone come in and get all of the services they need under one roof. And that's what our clients tell us, that we need these services. That's why one of the reasons we did affiliate with AHF is because they wanted medical care on site. Because many times there were other things that took priority, and they couldn't go for their medical care. But now if that mother coming in needs to get in touch with social service, we'll handle that. One of the case managers will work with them, and Robert has a whole team of people that will come in and work with that person. But they'll also be able to go upstairs and see the doc and get their meds on the way out. So it's this one-stop shopping model that we think is critical now to meet the needs of people. And different people have different needs. Syringe exchange programs, when we were last on, we didn't have. I mean, that came about, well, we did. Actually, it was 2003 when we opened our first one.
When you first started, that was actually the first time that you were here with,
Yeah,
with
we
your
were working on that, right,
Yeah.
exactly. And that was fairly controversial back then. It still is with our federal government, but with us it's not. And you know, if you look back into history in the 60s and in the 1980s, over 60% of intravenous drug users were HIV positive. That's down to about 3 to 4% now.
That's amazing.
It is. It's a great intervention. It's cost effective and it works. But it intuitively people have problems with it,
Right.
and that they feel we're encouraging drugs. When in reality, just the opposite is we're now a gateway to services.
Right.
And so, you know, we feel very strongly. We use a harm reduction model, which is we don't judge people where they're at or where we want them to be at. And we just treat people like people and in a very humanistic and civil manner, and people respond accordingly. And when someone is ready and everybody has a button that says, you know what, I think it's time to stop. If you build people up and get them healthier, sometimes they can make healthier decisions. And if they don't want to, that's okay too, but we can then stop the spread of HIV, hepatitis C, which is now 4 times as rampant as HIV, and other bloodborne diseases, just by being open-minded. And this has been an extraordinarily effective program throughout the nation, but in the borough of Queens, we've been extremely effective, and we are now still the only syringe exchange program in Queens. So.
Oh, wow.
That's amazing
Yes.
and crazy at the same time.
We also have a lot of housing services, and that's usually what brings people into the agency. They need housing. And we do provide housing for many different types of populations. Maybe you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I was going to say, you were talking about people dealing with just low income, but we can see a lot of people, our community pantry, people with suit and ties are coming in, working class people are coming in. And you believe it or not, we get a lot of referrals to that. People will come back when they get off the pantry line and say, you know what, I need some help. And we're there to help them.
That's fantastic,
Yeah.
because I think if you're in that kind of a situation, you just don't really know where to turn.
Yeah.
And it's nice that, like you said, it's this one-stop shopping model where that's one of the hardest things to do, is to ask someone for help.
Right.
And not know.
Hardest lesson I ever learned.
Right.
Yeah, all of us.
I mean,
Yes, everybody.
Silly example, but I was signing up for health insurance and I called a friend who works in human resources and I said, it's not my skill set, you know, can you help me out? She's like, yeah, of course.
Right.
But, you know, how many people,
And especially in a non-judgmental way.
Right.
yes.
That's
Right.
really the key to all of our programs. Is in 1997 we actually adopted harm reduction as a philosophy for all of our programs. And people know, I mean, when we opened the syringe exchange, everybody was diabetic. And then as time went on, they said, you know, these people are going to treat me like a person. They're not going to judge who I am.
Yeah.
And I think that's the key. You're coming in, nobody wants to be judged.
Right.
And if you come in and you're treated like a person, you're willing to open up, and then we're willing to help you and tell us what your needs are. And you're right, the hardest thing to do is to say, I need some help here.
Right.
But if we can work with someone and have that trust, which is critical, that we get to know you as a person, then we can help you better and also get you tested. I mean, one of the reasons here, and we appreciate you having us, is getting the word out, get tested.
Right.
You know, when we did start many years ago when we were on the show, the meds were working, we had a lot of issues with them. Today, people are living normal lives. It became a chronic disease since we've been here, and people can live healthy and normal lives if they get tested early, know their status, and then can get treatment.
Right.
So we have testing vans all over. again, with AHF, they got us new testing vans that they custom designed that we can now go into communities, and they have high tops, and we can do testing right at fairs and other places.
And it's not sweating out for 2 weeks waiting for results anymore.
Exactly.
Right.
It's very fast.
Right. So you can come in, you'll get tested. If you do need treatment and you need someone to talk to, we have also a licensed mental health clinic, because it's obviously an emotional component, someone being diagnosed with any major disability or disease. And we'll be able to coordinate your services immediately. You don't have to say, now, where do I go? Well, let's sit down and talk what you want. The doctor's right here. Let's hook you up. The pharmacist is right there. And we'll come up with a treatment plan that works for you. And that's really the goal.
Great. I just want to remind the viewers that we are live tonight on February 2nd. If you have any questions or comments about the services that ACQC provides, call in and ask at 718-460-9802. We're happy to do our best to point you in the right direction.
Do you ever have people coming back, like, as not success stories, but have gotten themselves back on their feet? And do people ever come back and just
Give back.
thank
They,
you?
they come
Of
back all
course.
the time. That's probably
Yes.
one of the best parts of the job. We've all been at the agency for many years, and we do get to see that. I walk on the street sometimes, and somebody calls me, and they say, I want to tell you, you saved my life. And I know that they mean it.
That's true.
And our door is always open.
Right.
People come back. They're doing well, an issue comes up, they come back to see us all the time.
That's amazing. And I think, too, that's important that they come back, because maybe current clients can see that your services work and help people.
Oh, yeah.
AHF recently had some consultants come in and do a survey to see about our programs and why we were successful. And they found that the success of the programs rely on the staff, that the staff are very committed and very compassionate, and they use the word, they call it the secret sauce of ACQC. And when I read it, I kind of giggled, but the more I thought about it, I realized how true it really is. And I think we treat the clients with respect, and sometimes we are the first place that they've come to, that they're treated like a human being.
Yeah, I think what was it, Maya Angelou, who said that you may not remember all that I said, but you will remember how I treat you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what we do at ACQC. But our clients, come back and they go and get other clients. They go and tell, hey, you know what, come to ACQC. You want some help? Come. So it's by word of mouth as well, too.
And we hire a lot of clients, who
that
come
was
into our
one of my
peer
next
education
questions.
program. Who better knows about
Yeah.
the community? And we train many of them, and many of them were former clients and now are employees. So there's a very egalitarian kind of a place to be.
That's amazing.
We're lucky to go to a place where we can help people and get a lot of intrinsic rewards. Extrinsically, some of the people are not happy with the rewards, but intrinsically,
Can't
you can
please
go home.
everybody.
You know you're going to go home and you really did something right. And the clients do let you know that. There's a very close rapport with the clients. I mean, if you come into ACQC, there's no hierarchy. I mean, my door's open, everybody's door's open. You don't know who a client is, who a staff member is. We all look the same. We are the same.
Yes.
So some of us might be positive, some are not. But, we're still the same, and we're there to work together in a common cause.
You're all still human.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Exactly.
I'm really glad you guys are here, because again, it's an election year and things are very divisive, and this is nice because this is the exact opposite of that. Like, you guys are really coming together to help people. And this is kind of mind blowing. This idea of all the services that you guys provide, this one-stop shopping. It's amazing. Like, why can't there be more of this? Just in general in life,
Well, sometimes the most simple things are the hardest to achieve, and
Yep.
that's a perfect example.
Right, and it wasn't immediate and it wasn't overnight, but it's a history of building and loving and reaching out and people reaching back, and it comes back to you.
Absolutely.
We've made some good headroads, too, in the community, and even in the churches in years past, when I probably first came here, it was much more difficult to have accessibility. But today, many of the churches are good advocates for us, and actually our first syringe exchange programs opened in churches. So there's been a change in the society as a whole as to the way we look at things, at least in New York, but I don't know about the rest of the country. But it's not as judgmental in many respects, and people are still very stigmatized. That has not gone away, maybe to a lesser degree in some areas, but that's still a major challenge for many of our people is the stigma of HIV. You know, it's another chronic disease. However, our society has difficulties in dealing in the mode of delivery. So that's really been a problem.
All you really have to do to look at the way some people, I don't want to be overgeneral, still view things. You know, it's like if you look at the personal columns, they use the word clean to imply
Exactly.
that to be positive is to be dirty.
Right.
And it's not. It's just, it's a medical condition.
And even substance abuse, it depends what substances you're talking about.
Yes.
Right? I mean,
You are
people
correct.
who use, our friend Rush Limbaugh, they use a lot of drugs we were talking about earlier, and they were opiates. I mean, but somehow they were pills and prescribed, therefore okay.
And it's not the junkie sitting on
Exactly.
the side of the
What's the difference?
street. Yeah.
Right? And some of the people that are users, that we call them substance users, are in our staff, and they're great workers, and they're functioning, and they're working towards recovery or not, but they're in a position to manage their lives. And,
Right.
and who am I to judge them to say if they can do the job?
Right.
That's the goal here.
But it's, in my mind, I can't speak beyond that. It's a medical issue, not necessarily, people view it as a criminal issue when it's a
Exactly.
Yeah,
medical
we
issue.
don't.
Yeah, and that's the critical
That's the
part of
issue.
this. If we see this as a societal or a medical issue, then that's how we should deal with it. But it's not at this point. It is
Right.
criminalized.
You're starting to see that climb the ranks. There was a 60 Minutes piece recently about somebody in, I believe, in the cabinet who was treating drug use like the medical issue that it is,
Right.
as opposed to a criminal issue, and it's making some headway. And hopefully, whatever administration follows will be able to follow that model and build on it. But that, again, is in the voters' hands. And I'm not going to use this segment to advocate
Right.
for any particular
Right.
candidate, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I saw that piece, and it was very revealing. He also had a problem himself,
Yes.
and therefore was a little bit more sensitive than most, I think, but very intelligent and trying to say this is a medical issue, this is a social issue, and that's something we need to
think
deal with.
the way you guys are going about this, dealing with things as medical issues and not criminal issues, is it's opening. I think this is part of the reason for your success, obviously, is opening yourselves up in the compassion and love, as opposed to you need to be punished. And like that model just doesn't
Right.
work anymore
No, it
Well,
doesn't.
in all things.
When we
Exactly.
say we meet people where they're at, we really mean that. And I have clients that have relapsed 10, 15 times. That doesn't mean that the 16th time
They might get
They
it.
might
they
get it.
might get it. And if they don't, it's okay.
Right.
It's still part of the work that we do. Phil, why don't you tell a little bit about the drop-in center? I think we forgot that. and
Yeah, we
it's
did leave
so
that out. We
important.
have thank you. You're pretty good
Because
at
you know
this.
better than I do. But
We do have a homeless drop-in center in Astoria, and it's at a church where LGBT youth-focused program where kids can come in during the day. There's showers, there's places for them to get a meal, to sleep if there's no other place. It's open to all people, and it's in the community, and it works very effectively. And the people in the community found it, and the youth come there, and it's been a very successful program. So we, again, try to reach out where there are needs. Again, it's a very difficult situation in Queens because we're so diverse and so large, and trying to get the services out in a culturally sensitive manner is always a challenge as well.
Right, because if I'm not mistaken, we're still the most ethnically and culturally diverse county in the entire country.
Yeah, yeah.
But you guys are still successful.
Yeah. I think because, as Judy said, the staff are so committed to what they're doing, and the clients become our best advocates. And so then it's the clients that are actually making us successful.
Right.
Now, see, you have all these services for homeless people and youth and whatnot, and I can't help but think, why can't our city government? Why are our homeless shelters a mess? You know, this is working. What you guys are doing, this is working. Why can't that former teacher that was murdered in a homeless shelter? Like, why can't we have improvements. Why, I can't articulate.
Well,
but
it's changing a little. We had actually applied many years ago for to operate a homeless shelter because we knew it was a women's shelter, and we knew most of the women in the shelter. Unfortunately, you need to be a large organization to be able to handle the cash flow in operating a shelter. This is the administrator talking now. So one of the reasons we did merge with AHF is that they are a very large organization, which now gives us the resources to possibly expand into possibly operating things like shelters.
Well, because the thing, if people are coming, people are obviously coming to you guys and they feel safe, they feel respected, you know, and they're cared for. This frustrates me because this is something wonderful.
It's so simple, isn't it?
It is. It really is. You know, there's this idea in Buddhism that every person has been your mother at one time. You know, and the way I think about that is because you know I have my days too, but like I look at everybody and I'm like they felt the sun on their face. They've all been children. You know, and
Exactly.
that helps me chill out when I'm having a day. You know.
Yeah, we've all had those, so we're all in
We
this
have them all the
together.
time.
You know, and the difference is when we have those too, it's our clients that pick us up.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, our clients come in, when we first were in Far Rockaway, we had to move, our building went into receivership, and we had a picnic, and there were some, I'll classify them as gangbangers, saw me at the picnic and said, Phil, you better tell us when you're moving. And I said, why wouldn't I tell you when we move? And they said, no, you don't get it, we're moving you. When we moved out of our Far Rockaway site to another site, we rented a truck, and the people in the community came out and literally moved us.
Wow.
Because there are advocates. They wanted to make sure things were cool. They come into our programs, and if the colors are out, they say, you don't want to go into public housing today, stay away. Meaning because gang activity is occurring. So, you know, when you have this kind of relationship where you're working with the community is really why you're successful. Because they're supporting what you're doing, and they're really looking out for us, which they do. I mean, our
you look
greatest
out for
advocates
them.
are the people that we purport to serve. Well, in many cases, they're serving us equally as well. So it's really a dynamic kind of relationship.
Well,
yeah, it is symbiotic
if
in many
anyone
respects. Yeah.
is watching, and how can people find out? How can they get in touch with you? If they're-
Our website is acqc.org. Our phone number, 718-896-2500, rings at our 5 different sites. So you can get to any of those sites through that number. So go on the web, just throw us in and search. If you forget,
Pretty easily
it'll come right up.
accessible in
Right.
all different areas of the borough.
And you just call us and just say, you know, whatever you want. You're going to get somebody who there's multiple access points. You can enter at any point you want. We make it user-friendly. And just drop in, and we'll be able to help you.
That's so much. I mean, that's mind blowing. Just to see where you were 20 years ago when I first had, I think my second and third shows were with reps from ACQC. Just to see where you were then, and to see how much you've grown, and how the community has grown with you, and just the mutual respect that's gone into that is just mind blowing. And I'm in my own small contribution to that by using the show to help you raise awareness.
Thank you.
Makes me proud of what we do on the show, and proud
We
to have you all as
appreciate it.
guests.
No, we appreciate getting us help. You've always helped us get the word out, even when it wasn't that popular. And so we appreciate, you know, everything the show does too, because we're only as good as getting the word out. You know,
right.
if people hear this and get tested, and if they're negative, we can help them stay that way. Or if they're positive, at least they know, okay, I can get some care and I can get some services. So this is the way we do that. So we thank you, actually, for all you guys have done over the years.
Last time we got several calls from people who had just lost a job or ran out of money. They didn't know where to go, and they called, and we were able to help them.
Yeah, I have one friend who found housing. The organization helped to find housing, and it was a nice place. So, and this is about 5 years later now. I saw him again over the summer. He's back on his feet. He's, you know, working steadily, building a successful career. And it starts with one little thing. It starts with a good meal. It starts with housing. It starts with medical care, and one builds on top of the other.
being treated like a person.
Being
That's
treated
the
like a
most
person.
important
Yep,
thing.
that's always the most
Yeah.
important.
Okay, and one more time, where can people find out more information again?
acqc.org, which is
Okay.
our acronym, and that's how people generally know us.
And the phone number?
718-896-2500.
And thank you
No,
so much.
thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
appreciate
Thanks for
everything
having
too.
us
Thank
again.
Thank you.
And you can keep an eye on us on the Twitter, talking about _TV. You've got yours at Cara Kilduff, right? On the Twitter?
The Twitter, yes.
Yeah, somebody recently said that you don't have enough followers, so you darn well better follow her.
I don't really tweet a lot. Like something snarky will go through my head, and then I'm like, that's about it.
And we're at www.talkingabout.info. You'll be able to see this show and a whole lot of other ones on that site. And I want to thank you again for joining us. Thank you all.
Thank you.
I'm John Griffith,
I'm Cara Kilduff.
and we'll see you again next time.